No, we are reading Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, chapter 2, and it is about know and improve yourself. The oldest of admonitions, like warnings, is know yourself. Your know yourself, my to be successful in any pursuit, you must know yourself, your strengths and weaknesses, and continually strive to improve your strengths and eliminate weaknesses. The most common cause of both success and failure is self. Any weakness is one's self works to undermine success. Is one's self works to undermine success. Here, I encourage you and show you how to evaluate yourself. And I present a list of 31 common obstacles to success so you can begin to work towards removing them from your path. Most common cause of both success and failure is self. Choose to lead or follow. Choose to lead or follow. Before deciding a specific approach to accumulating riches, you must decide whether to pursue riches as a leader or a follower. Leaders accumulate riches by creating opportunities and including followers to design, produce, market, and distribute products and services to the marketplace. Followers may accumulate riches by selling their specialized knowledge in forms of service to leaders. It is no disgrace to be a follower. On the other hand, it is no privilege to remain a follower. The most great leaders began in the capacity of followers. They became great leaders because they were intelligent followers. With few exceptions, people who cannot follow a leader intelligently cannot become efficient leaders. People who can follow a leader most efficiently are usually those who develop into leadership most rapidly. An intelligent follower has many advantages, among them the opportunities to acquire knowledge from the leader. The difference in compensation is vast. The follower can't reasonably expect the compensation to which a leader is entitled, although many followers make the mistake of expecting such pay. Recognize the major leadership attributes. If you choose to pursue riches as a leader, be sure you possess the following 11 essential leadership attributes. Unwavering courage based upon knowledge. Unwavering courage, like not changing. Courage, based upon knowledge of self and of one's occupation. No follower wishes to be dominated by a leader who lacks self-confidence and courage. No intelligent follower will be dominated by such a leader very long. Self-control. People who cannot control themselves can never control others. Self-control sets a mighty example for one's followers, which the more intelligent will emulate. Keen sense of justice. Without a sense of fairness and justice, no leader can, command and retain the respect of his or her followers. Definiteness of decision. People who be waver in decisions show that they are unsure of themselves. They can't lead others successfully. Definiteness of plans. The successful leader must plan the work and work the plan. The leader who The leader who moves A leader who moves by guesswork without practical definite plans is comparable to a ship without rudder. Sooner or later it will land on the rock. Habit of doing more than one is paid for. Leaders must do more than they require of their followers. Pleasing personality. No slovenly, careless person can become a successful leader. Leadership calls for respect. Followers will not respect leaders who do not have a pleasing personality, sometimes referred to as charisma, powerful personality qualities. Sympathy and understanding. Successful leaders must be in sympathy with their followers. Moreover, they must understand them and their problems. Mastery of detail. Successful leaders calls for mastery of detail of their leader's position. Willingness to assume full responsibility. Successful leaders must be willing to assume responsibility for the mistakes and the shortcomings of their followers. If they try to shift this responsibility, they will not remain leaders. If followers make mistakes and become incompetent, it is the leader who has failed. Cooperation. Successful leaders must understand and apply the principles of cooperative effort and be able to induce followers to do the same. Leadership calls for power, and power calls for cooperation. Note the 10 major causes of failure in leadership. Knowing what not to do is as important as knowing what to do. Here are the 10 major causes of leadership failure. Inability to organize details. Efficient leadership calls for ability to organize and to master detail. No genuine leader is ever too busy to do anything that may be required as a leader. Whether a leader or follower is too busy to change plans or attend to any emergency. It is an indication of inefficiency. The successful leader must be the master of all details connected with the position. That means, of course, that the leader must be able to delegate responsibilities effectively. Unwillingness to render humble service. Truly great leaders are willing, when occasion demands, to perform any sort of labor that they would ask another to perform. The greatest among you shall be the servant of all. This shows that all the able leaders observe and respect. Expectation of pay for that. Expectation of pay for what they know instead of what they do with what that which they know. The world does not pay for that which people know. It pays them for what they do or induce others to do. Fear of competition from followers. The leader who fears one one of his followers may take his position is practically sure to realize that fear sooner or later. Able leaders train understudies to whom they may delegate at will. Only in this way may leaders multiply themselves and prepare to be at many places and give attention to many things at one time. It is an eternal truth that people receive more pay for their ability to get others to perform. Eternal truth that people receive more pay for their ability to get others to perform than they could possibly earn by their own efforts. Efficient leaders may, through knowledge of their jobs and the magnetism of their personalities, greatly increase the efficiency of others and induce them to render more and better services than they could render by themselves. Yes, the knowledge of the jobs and valuable. Lack of imagination. Without imagination, leaders are incapable of leading emergencies and creating plans by which guide followers efficiently. Selfishness. Leaders who claim all the honor of the work of their followers are sure to encounter resentment. Great leaders claim none of the honors. They are content to see the honors when there are any go to their followers because they know that most people will work harder for commendation and recognition than they will for money alone. Intemperance. Followers do not respect an temperate leader. Moreover, intemperance is in any of its various forms destroys the endurance and the vitality of all who indulge in it. Disloyalty. Perhaps this should have come at the top of the list. Leaders who are not loyal to their trust and to their associates, those above and below them can't long maintain their leadership. This loyalty marks one as being less than the dust of the earth and brings down on one's head well-deserved contempt. Lack of loyalty is one of the major causes of failures in every walk of life. Every walk of life. Emphasis of the authority of leadership. Yes. Emphasis on authority of leadership. Efficient leaders lead by encouraging and not by trying to instill fear in the hearts of their followers. Leaders who try to influence with their authority come within the category of leadership through force. Real leaders have no need to advertise that facts except by their conduct, sympathy, understanding, fairness, and a demonstration of knowledge of the job. Authority of leadership. Emphasis of title. Competent leaders require no title to gain the respect of their followers. Leaders who make too much over the title generally have a little else to emphasize. No title to gain the respect of their followers. Leaders who make too much over the title generally have little else to emphasize. The doors to the office of real leaders are open to all who wish to enter, and their working quarters are free from formality or ostentation. Show of wealth and luxury. Ostentation. Or ostentation. They are among the more common of the causes of failure in leadership. Any of these faults is sufficient to induce failure. Study the list carefully if you aspire to leadership, and be free of these. The more common of the causes of failure in leadership, any of these faults is sufficient to induce failure. Study the list carefully if you aspire to leadership, and be free of these faults. Explore fertile fields for new leadership. Leadership opportunities abound, exist in large quantity. Leadership opportunities abound in all fields. Because leaders create and identify opportunities that add value, here are several fertile fields that have experienced a decline in leadership and in which the new type of leader may find an abundance of opportunity. Honest. Politics. The demand for competent politicians with integrity is nothing less than an emergency. Too many politicians have seemingly become high-grade legalized racketeers. They have increased taxes and debauched the machinery of industry and business until the people can no longer stand the burden. Finance and economics. Chronic global instability in the financial markets has all but destroyed public confidence. The world needs leaders who understand and appreciate the financial principles on which stable economic systems are based and have the moral integrity to do the right thing. Instead of enabling financial institutions to reap short-term profits at the expense of the health of the system. Business. The old type of leaders thought and moved in terms of dividends instead of in terms of human equation. Exploitations of workers and collective bargaining that puts companies out of business are, or at least should be, a thing of the past. Let those who aspire to leadership in the field of business, industry, and labor remember this. Religion. Religious leaders are of the future will be forced to give more attention to the current needs. Will be forced to give more attention to the current needs of the followers, especially in terms of personal finance and relationship, and less attention to the dead past and yet unborn future. Professions. In the profession of law, medicine, a new brand of leadership, and to some extent, new leaders will become a necessity. This will especially true in the fields of education, where educators must find ways and means to teach people how to apply the knowledge they receive in school. They must deal more with practice and less with theory. Media. The media, newspaper, magazines, movies, television, games, websites, radio, and so on, mold the minds that plot the course of future civilization. Wise, unbiased leaders are needed to make responsible use of these powerful tools to ensure positive change. These are but a few of the fields in which opportunities for new leaders and new brand of leadership are now available. A leader is one who creates opportunities and induces followers to design, produce, market, and distribute products and services to the marketplace by content. Accessible, politics, finance and economics, business, religion, professions, and media. There are two forms of leadership. Leadership by consent of and with the sympathy of followers is by far the most effective. By force, without the consent and sympathy of the followers, is unsustainable. History is filled with evidence that leadership by force can't endure. The downfall and disappearance of dictators and kings is significant. It means that people will not follow forced leadership indefinitely. The world has entered a new era of relationship between leaders and followers, which very clearly calls for new leaders and a new brand of leadership in business and industry. Those who belong to the old school of leadership by force must acquire an understanding of the new brand of leadership cooperation, or be relegated to the rank and file of the followers. No other way out for them.